Hello again, everyone, and Kitty, who is watching in the future. Welcome back to not Bazozan. Welcome back to the Jewel of Hope on Ank'harel, on the continent of Marquette. A bustling metropolis, sunny, hot, uh, not filled with demons as far as we've seen so far. Hopefully that remains the case. Uh, but yes, we have arrived, gotten a little information, met a couple of people, uh, got a rundown on the districts of the city. Three main things I'm hoping for today with our slightly shorter session. First and foremost, for you five to do most of the talking. Uh, that extra hour was not for planning; that was for mental health. Um, Two, to somewhat familiarize you guys with the city that you find yourselves in, because there's a lot. I mentioned there's an entire chapter dedicated to like just here's the city and things in the city. No plot things, just the city. Uh,
Jesus.
and then three, hopefully, with all of that happening, get myself and the rest of you kind of an idea of what direction we're going to get us toward the goal of finding and helping Elixian in this place. But with that said, uh, last night you all got your rooms at the Lap of the Gods after getting some funny looks but flashing enough money. Uh, got your individual rooms, five rooms with one big bed in each. Made your ways to the Steam Gardens in the River District to go bask in their glorious spa uh, after not finding one in Bazozan. Surprise, surprise.
Fuck
Uh,
Bezos. How did you
money
keep a straight
was
face? I want
money
to know.
was definitely spent. So much money.
You
Uh,
all owe me money, by the way.
Clothes were cleaned, armor was polished. A night market was sought out. Some people have gone to the night market. A lot of RP was not caught up on by me in between sessions because work is has been a thing.
Yeah.
Uh, so coming from the Steam Gardens, what in general has been everyone's direction and plan?
Uh, Originally, when we left the Steam Gardens, we did go back to the Lap of the Gods. We checked in on Kibble. She's doing great. She's being treated like a queen, as she should be.
As she should
Um,
be.
Yep.
Ix retired to her
Okay.
room. Ben went for a walk around wherever he could walk. Um, Thorne, Lucas, and Arno went to the night market. I don't know if Lucas and Arno found a brothel or if they just went to the night market, but I imagine that they probably found a brothel because they were up all night. Like they didn't sleep, from what I understand.
They
So,
probably found a brothel.
yeah. So now it is the next morning. It is the 18th of Fezrin. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyways, the
Fessler.
18th. Thank you, Fezrin. So it's the 18th now in the morning. It says left her room. She is in the dining hall with Arno and Thorne. Thorne is donning his nice, fancy new fine clothes, and he's looking good. If you haven't seen that in our channel, which I'm sure you have, dude looks nice. Uh,
Yeah.
Arno is looking
And
real good because he got all pretty the night before. So Ix is looking like trash compared to these motherfucking beauties. Goddamn.
Posh.
So, so we're in the dining hall right now in the Lap of the Gods in the morning. I'd have to say, I don't know, whatever time it is because it's
uh,
like just became dawn.
well, you all are incredibly teleport lagged right now.
Mm.
Because you all departed Bazozan like mid to late morning and you got here like late afternoon. So, yeah, it's probably almost lunchtime when you wake up.
Oh, perfect.
Oh.
Okay, so it's lunchtime that we're in the dining hall.
So we probably still got a long rest because that would make
Oh yeah,
sense with
you
that
got a
long
long
resting up.
rest. You weren't tired enough to fall asleep until like 4 a.m.
Yeah. That checks.
Okay.
So yeah,
And that's
it's like somewhere between 10 a.m. and noon maybe, depending on how long people stay in bed.
how busy is the dining hall? Like how many people are around?
It's not too busy at the moment. People are starting to come in. People getting some early luncheons, but yeah, middling.
Okay.
Everybody's dressed pretty nicely here, unsurprisingly.
I would think so if it's the fanciest freaking inn.
It's the lap of the gods in the Sand
Oh,
Herald's district.
we
What else
did
would you
already.
expect?
That's true. Oh my god, this place. So that was one night. So we have 2 more nights here, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
Yep.
we already
Yeah, we
paid for
paid
that.
for 3 nights.
That's right. Ix did pay the 100 gold for the gardens, so you guys are gonna have to figure out tipping wise whatever you're gonna take out.
So were you guys at the spa for 4 hours?
I would say so. Yeah, 2 of it
I think
minimum
so.
was soaking. I know
Is it going to be a lot more than 100 gold?
could be.
Well, no,
Actually, you know
for
what?
100 gold would be 4 hours for 5 of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty
So it's
confident because
5 gold
Arno.
per hour per person, so 25 gold per hour.
Yeah,
Washing off the pain of Bazzoxan took a while.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, Ix also
You
got a
got in,
massage, and
shook
Arno
it
also
off,
got prettied.
relaxed a bit, then you had to get in a second time just to be sure.
100%. Well,
Lucas was
you
a
gotta try all the
prune.
different
It was
oils.
great.
So it's
I don't know what a good tip is, but I'll tip 10 gold.
Perfect. Go ahead and just take that on out of your inventory.
But you probably don't have to tip anyone for being in the tubs or the pools or whatever.
Okay.
So the tipping for like whatever massages were gotten, 10 gold is probably plenty.
Lucas
So apart
got
from
armor
that-
cleaned.
He did.
Mhm.
Did.
All right. So just a refresher for myself and you and our viewer. Potential options for the day. You did yesterday spoke with Alakratos, one of the headmasters of the Crystal Chateau. Um, he did invite you to come speak again about working potentially with the Allegiance of Allsight against the consortium of the Vermilion Dream, which would get you eventually access to the biggest library in the city, or at least one of the most exclusive libraries in the city. Cobalt Soul Library ain't no slouch. In the meantime, you do have access to the public school library that they also run. But you can potentially discuss with the Allegiance if you want to aid them or not. That would also potentially get you more information on Ruidium and where it comes from. You could follow up on Question and the Cobalt Soul, possibly work with them. They seem to have a working relationship with the Allegiance, just from a comment that Alakratos made. The consortium is apparently somewhere in the city. Don't have any information on that yet, but that could be looked into. Or you could do your own thing, look around for information, see what can be gleaned, see what opportunities present themselves. But the day is yours.
Perfect. So I know Arno is with me and Thorne in the dining hall. So when is Lucas and Ben going to march on in here?
Probably
Or is
wouldn't
Ben-
be too much later.
Ben is
If
already
there's
in.
food.
We just don't see him because he has all these piles of plates just
The mound
there.
of food. Everyone's
Yeah.
just like, "Where's Ben?" And you just.
He's just at the buffet. He just hasn't moved.
Cutting your
from the
cookies
buffet.
into smaller pieces? Who does that?
Ben's a bottomless pit. He don't care.
It makes them last longer. It doesn't mean you eat less.
He has so many options though. So many
Pretty
options.
much just. It pretty
You
much
can-
just sounds like Lucas is the last one out, so whenever. It's fine.
Perfect.
You just rotate through the different flavors until they're all gone.
You have to remember I took off my studded leather, so I have to take it off. Dude, there it is.
Well, the thing that I want to do most, it shouldn't come as a surprise, is I really want to go visit the Cobalt Soul, and if I go, I'm probably going to be there all day. You guys can come with me if you want. You don't have to. I would understand, but that's where I want to go.
We'll definitely make time for that.
I mean,
but I have Go ahead, Thorne.
I was just gonna say, I think some of us would definitely be interested in coming with you, given research opportunities.
Oh yeah, there's no way we're going to stick with one library. I mean, let's face it. If knowledge is pretty much anywhere in this city, it's best to get it from anywhere and everywhere we can get it. But apart from that,
you can get us in anyway.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know how they operate. Ben's experience with the Cobalt Soul is with 2 of them ever, and then finding a bunch of dead bodies.
oh my god, why are you gonna say it like that? Cheapers!
Telling it like it is, man.
That wasn't in character, right? That was outside of character. Anyway. So after Ben situates himself and eventually Lucas has joined us, right, Jess?
Sure.
Sure. You're like, I guess. He's here.
Bright-eyed, bushy, hot. Already hot.
Hot as in temperature or hot as in like attractiveness? You gotta differentiate.
Yes.
We're in a climate.
That depends. How do you feel about sweat?
Oh god.
Ew.
Answering that.
Off of his muscled physique.
I'm not answering that as Heather or Ix. I'm just not answering that. So, moving on.
Lucas, who lives in the pretty far north on his home continent.
What's on your
That's
mind,
right.
Ix? It sounds like you have something on your mind.
Yeah. How... Stars, how secluded are we in this little corner? Because we did sit down in a corner, I will say.
I mean, you can make yourself somewhat secluded. It's not bustling yet. It's not the lunch rush.
All right. Ix will kind of give a glance around to make sure nobody's intently listening from what she can see.
This is like brunch, early lunch time. Make a perception check, Miss Observant.
Oh, perception guy. Perception, here we go. That's an 8. She had a rough night, okay?
Fair. People seem to be minding their own business at the moment.
Fantastic. She's going to kind of push her plate of barely eaten food out of her way and kind of...
Also, people occasionally glance your way, but it seems more like, oh, who are these people? Are they supposed to be here?
Do we look that ragged right now? I mean, Arno and Thorne are looking good. I mean, Lucas is probably looking good. Ben, I don't know. Ben, did you like roll around in the streets before you got here, or like?
I just mostly wandered around, went for a walk. I got a good night's sleep.
Yeah. See, so why are we looking? They could just foreigners, freaking tourists. So yeah, she'll push
new money.
I don't like the sound of that at all.
We're too excited about the spread and like how everything is. We're enthusiastic. It's a sure sign that we're not used to this type of luxury.
Yeah, that is probably fair. I mean, Ben's already has like a pile of plates, like just done.
Well, that doesn't bother anyone.
I'm sure, but I'm sure a couple people are like, well, okay. But yeah, she'll push her barely eaten food aside.
I'm just imagining when Ben got there. I'm sorry to interrupt, Heather. Like, he's like,
it's only the 5th time.
I want to get breakfast. And they say, it's lunchtime. I want that and breakfast.
I'll take your leftover breakfast. And you can start.
Whatever you were going to throw away. Ben would too, though. Let's be fair. He'd walk up like, where are you going with that? So, Ix will kind of lean on the table, take an exhale. Well, considering the idea that I have, it's best if all of you know who my patron is and her relationship with me. That said, I will disclose that Thorne and Arno already know this information. Arno more recently than Thorne. I will answer questions on it, but I ask that you keep an open mind for the moment. So I'll just come out and say it. It's Tiamat, and she's the one who I entered a pact with. She is not forgiving in the least, as I'm sure all of you know. And in case it wasn't obvious, she is a betrayer god. That said, the plan that I have requires you to know this because it might come to light. And Arno made a fine point that it's best if you hear it from me versus eventually down the road. So before I get into this plan or idea that I have, does anyone have any questions on it?
Out of character, Tiamat is a dragon. Yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Bad
Tiamat
dragon.
is the
In
queen of-
character, Tiamat is a dragon? Or
Mhm.
do I know this?
Yes, Tiamat is well known to be the queen of evil dragons and is one of the betrayer gods.
Seems like some Tiamat knowledge would be pretty common knowledge.
And also,
I figured, but I wasn't 100% sure because Lucas's pure Lucas reaction is, you follow a dragon? Not even like it's a betrayer god, but like a dragon?
yes.
Dragons are badass. Dragons are badass.
Fun side note, Ben is wearing a stylized
Yeah.
version of her unholy symbol on his chest.
Ben is
Yeah,
what?
but it gives me a +1. I can't get rid of that.
Oh yeah, he does.
You gotta
does
have
have
those
that.
+1s, man.
Ah.
Gotta boost those numbers. Those are rookie numbers.
If anybody were to point that out, I'd probably just. I'm wondering what the Cobalt Soul's relationship is with
The
Tiamat.
betrayer gods?
Yeah, right.
I don't think it's good.
Well,
yeah,
of
What's
course
his name?
that, but like
Arturos? What's the headmaster's name again?
more specific than that.
Alacritos.
Alacritos. He made it very clear that prime deities are openly worshipped and everything else is pretty strongly discouraged. I mean, he that was like one of the third things he said was like, just FYI, we don't play stupid shit here. Like,
But
Very, very luckily for Ben, perhaps because the symbol is a little bit stylized, nobody so far has noticed and called him out on it.
maybe he'll just tuck it under his fancy robes.
Very fortunate.
his new fancy robes.
Especially because it glows whenever you're in combat. FYI. Glows purple.
Can I make this a different dragon?
No, unfortunately not. So,
I mean,
I tell you all this, or tell you all that, to run by an idea. So, the headmaster did give us, I guess, an option to join his group, as well as it seems there are other groups to join.
Lucas makes a
I
face.
have no intention of doing any of that. However, if we are able to gain access to these libraries by being in one or two of these, I can see the trade-off being favorable. But I'm thinking I might have a way to not join, but still getting access to the libraries. I spoke with Prolix last night very briefly to see if perhaps they've tried infiltration specifically for the consortium, only because I feel that they would probably have more information on my patron and Ruidium specifically that perhaps the Allegiance and the Cobalt Soul might not have. That said, Prolix did indicate that they have tried infiltration, that it somehow their agents are always found out. The benefit we have, specifically us, is we are not from around here. I mean, we've barely been here. Yeah, we've been out in public, but I don't think we stand out as much as people might think. So I'm going to see if I can offer an independent contract of sorts to the headmaster to infiltrate the consortium to see if we can gain any knowledge from, of course, them, and still at the same time exchange information to gain access to the more exclusive library. Now, the reason why my patron comes into play with this is the headmaster will undoubtedly want assurances, and the only assurance I can think of or to give is truth. And the only way to give that is usually by magic means, typically the zone of truth or a truth circle or magic items, what have you. The only way for him to know that I'm not lying is to be in that, and if he were to ask me questions, I would answer truthfully, so that way he would know the information I give is correct and I'm not hiding anything. And if the mention of me infiltrating comes up, obviously, the beginning part of it would be my patron had brought me to them. We have 3 of these tablets. I can easily use one to appear in the consortium, wherever that may be, say that I was from the Betrayer's Rise, that I came from Bazozan, that from there, my patron brought me here. I reveal who my patron is, and then try and gain their trust through those means. Past that, any information that I can get, I can relay either with Spren or messages, or of course, hidden written texts, which I can easily manage with like illusionary scripts. But eventually I will have to meet back up with either one of you or the headmaster to exchange that information. But again, this is all hoping I don't have to reveal this information. But if it means we can gain access to that library without having to be exclusively in their groups, I want to try it.
So I don't dislike the idea.
Hmm.
I don't like the idea of you doing it by yourself.
Oh, I wouldn't do it by myself. Arno, you would have to do recon work. With your ring of invisibility, it'd be easy enough for you to at least try and scope out where they may or may not be. We can easily talk to the Allegiance to see what information they may have previously. But apart from that, I mean, the tablet can easily transport more than one person. The issue is are we going to be able to be convincing enough for all of us or some of us to be there?
I have to change into my other robe.
And not just that, but I mean, Arno, I'm sure you're no newcomer to this, but the consortium, just from what we've experienced with Aloysia, will likely not be kind people. Ben, specifically, do you think you could be criminalistic? I mean, not just picking
Evan
locks.
actually laughs out loud at that.
I don't mean picking locks, Ben. I mean actually being mean is the nicest term.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at that when I try. And you know what? If I can help infiltrate an enemy of the Cobalt Soul, I think I'm for it.
All right. Thorne?
I mean, I think I can be mean, no problem, personally.
Well, I know you can be mean. I'm talking about the idea. I'm not asking you if you're nice. I'm talking if you're on board with the plan.
Oh,
or
so
the
it's not a
possibility
question that I'm not nice, huh?
Ix is too tired for your bullshit. Ix is gonna roll her eyes. Yes, you're so nice. Super nice. The nicest. Now, would you be on board with this idea?
Yeah, sounds like a good plan to me.
Lucas, do you have any thoughts?
I'm trying to decide if it makes any amount of sense for us all to not, or if it makes more sense for us to do this as a group.
I was ready to do this on my own. It's easier to infiltrate with one person. With multiple people, if we get split up or if they interrogate separately, we have to have a story.
Multiple tablets for this place, right?
3 specifically, but we'd
We
only
have-
use 1.
Do we have a way to send messages to each other that's like not like just the message spell, something like that can go over a distance?
We could probably
Not
procure a
verbally.
sending stone, or maybe the headmaster might have an idea or two,
Um,
because if they've infiltrated before, or at least tried, I'm sure they have something
My-
in place.
Thinking is along Lucas's line, if we don't all need to go in, maybe you go in first, and if you're like, shit, I need backup, then we all use another teleport stone, come in, kick some ass, and then we'll go from there.
Well, that's smart. I doubt they're going to trust me after day 1, though. They'll likely have me tailed.
Yeah. See, for me, group is easy because think about Aloysia. She was looking for help. If we go in as a mercenary group who has no morals, who's really just there for the coin,
That's fair.
money talks. And then, would they really ask that many questions?
If they're as secretive as the Allegiance says they are, I doubt they're going to be welcoming when we just show up. We're going to have a very convincing story on how we found those tablets, or how we found the tablet in general, because I admit I would prefer if we didn't have the other 2 on us,
Well,
on how we found it
who's-
in the Rise, how we managed to be here.
Well, who's to say that we have to go to the consortium directly, though? I mean, whatever the fuck her name was.
Aloysia?
However you say it.
I can barely say Alacridos.
She's got a really hard to pronounce name. But she was looking for mercenaries. Maybe there's members of the consortium who might have jobs here. I mean, this is where they're based, and we could approach one of them. Make it seem like they've found us, when in reality we're finding them.
Yeah, but then that would take a lot longer to figure out who may or may not be a part of the consortium. But it's a good start, actually, because we can ask the headmaster if he does know of any agents in the city. They have to have tabs on somebody.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, they knew to follow her to Bazazan, right? They probably know a lot about
Does it
the
make sense
individual
then
members.
for all of us to be seen actively chatting up the Allegiance?
No, it wouldn't.
I have an idea.
Okay.
Going with the idea of us trying to kind of make them think that they found us. Isn't there like a coliseum in town?
The headmaster did mention that.
If we
Hold on.
go there and we do a good showing,
Are they
then
looking
kind
for
of
strong
pass around
warriors,
that we're
though? Or
looking
they-
for odd jobs.
Is that their thing? Are they looking for fighters, for warriors? Would that really get their attention?
I mean, it would get their attention in the sense that we're like useful.
That's fair.
Most people
Yes, but
would
that would-
assume that if you can like fight well, that would. That's what they're looking for in mercenaries most of the time.
All right, well, we'll have to be careful with that. If we do enter, I'd prefer if they didn't know everything we're capable of.
I mean, true, but not everyone is going to enter.
All right.
I would assume, unless they do groups, but I don't know. It's something we could look into.
If nothing else, I'm sure there's prize money to be won for that. All right. Well, should we start with the Cobalt Soul first and then the headmaster, or the headmaster and then the Cobalt Soul?
No, my vote.
Cobalt Soul. I think that we should stay away from the Allegiance. At least not seem too eager to talk to them.
Agreed.
Make it
That's
feel
fair.
like they're our last resort.
I like that. All right. All right, Ben, are you done eating your 12s, 11sies?
I'm sorry, what? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm done. We're good.
Perfect. All right, gentlemen. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
To the Cobalt Soul it is.
But first, an interjection.
Oh, thanks.
Little past the point of it being quite as relevant, but a religion check from Ben.
Oh, I only just saw that. Yeah, I'm very good at religion.
Hey,
14 isn't
It's not
bad.
the worst.
well, when you muse, is there a different dragon god? Maybe you are aware one of the prime deities is Bahamut, the platinum dragon, the mortal enemy of Tiamat.
I make this an insignia of platinum or whatever would be for Bahamut.
If people ask, you could just say it's dirty.
Oh, he's gonna tuck it into his robe. I assume it still works under there. It doesn't need to be showy.
Actually, don't remember what Bahamut's holy symbol is.
Silver dragon, platinum dragon.
Yeah, he's seen as a platinum or like a silver dragon with like blue eyes. He pretty much has domain
It's,
over metallic dragons.
Yeah, just but what the holy symbol
Oh,
would be. It's
Oh, I'm sorry.
apparently a silver dragon's head in profile, typically. Whereas Tiamat's symbol that you have is a dragon claw.
Well, it hasn't turned me evil yet, and it's pretty handy. So I'm gonna keep using it for a bit. But if Tiamat wants it back, I mean, she can have it. She doesn't need no tax.
she wouldn't ask, Ben. And besides, she wouldn't grant you favor just from an amulet. Yeah, I'm sure you will not be converted.
Just for fun, I will say with a 14, Ben is aware that Bahamut is the deity of honor and justice, and metallic dragons, obviously. But yes. So
Perfect.
you all are setting out.
To the guided district.
I'm going to say conveniently, if you are going there later, I just randomly decided because I saw a little speck of blue that looked fancy, that the Lap of the Gods is in the eastern portion of the Sand Herald district. This big old spot right here, that is the Bowl of Judgment, which is the
Coliseum. Okay.
I ate one of those for lunch. Since not to get sidetracked, but since you're talking about the fancy map, I absolutely love that there's little dwellings built into the sides of the hills in the ridge in the guided district. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's been distracting me for a bit though, because it's great.
Yes. Yeah, no, they cut into the mountainsides to make to expand their available land space. And you are going to one of those places presently, I believe.
Oh, a dog.
I believe, yes, the Temple of the Mentor, which is where the Library of the Cobalt Soul is located, is within the guided district.
Accidental segue.
Let's see. All right. What is the description of this place? Oh, there's a picture. That's fun. Let me get the picture of the Temple of the Mentor up here for you guys.
I love visuals. I love visuals so much. Go to our channel. I clicked it. Ew. I hate seeing that freaking yellow glob of earwax. There we go.
It's so far up now.
I know.
Why are you still
Right.
looking at the earwax?
Ooh. That does look pretty.
Yes.
Is that somebody worshiping Bahamut right there? Like right outside the temple?
I mean,
Damn.
it might be.
Looks like it.
So the guided district, as a reminder, this is where most of the houses of worship are located. As you come up to this area, it's rather stark contrast from the Sand Herald district, which is where all the nobility and the rich folks and the rich visitors live, as well as there's a much higher concentration of the Hands of Ord around here. That's the military/police force you were told about. The guided district does also have a sizable presence of the Hands of Ord, but this is not where rich folks live. This is where the people who are not so well off and might not own property probably live.
And here comes Thorne in his super rich gear. Here comes Arno in his super rich gear.
Here comes the circus performer who is dressed very nicely right now.
Is Lucas in his armor? Are you walking around in your shiny new armor? I wouldn't say new, but shiny.
Is walking around in his decently shiny armor, yes.
Decently shiny. I could have done better. I can already hear it. Like I can already hear him go, it's all right. Like,
I'm so pretty.
Ix isn't wearing her coat, so I did remove that.
Arno has swapped out to like light colors and super sheer clothes because he can.
Mm-hmm.
And also hot.
Yes, it's
Ben's
hot.
gonna keep. Ben's gonna keep looking as Cobalt Soul as possible. So no change.
Well,
Marvelous.
Spren is still wrapped around Ix's neck for the time being. He hasn't really moved. Since he doesn't have a pocket to put him in.
Okay. So yes, so the Temple of the Mentor, just a little brief description here. There's a ceramic mosaic of 3 open eyes framed in cobalt blue, crowning the entrance to the Temple of the Mentor. It is a temple dedicated to Ayun, who is the goddess of knowledge. And the temple is more of a library than like a church type of place. And as has been discussed, also doubles as the base of operations for the Marquesian branch of the Library of the Cobalt Soul. So when you get to this place, you come inside the big atrium. There's just like rows of bookshelves all along the sides. There's meticulously cataloged tomes, scrolls, and periodicals that are available for public inspection. But you come in, look around, and what's the plan? Going straight to looking for Question, or
If Question is around, yeah, Ben would absolutely greet her first thing if he saw her. So.
Ben would also probably just walk around. Have you seen Question? Have you seen Question? Do you know Question?
He'd probably actually be in a bit of awe rather than doing that.
You know, that's fair, because he's never been in a Cobalt, like, library or temple, has he?
Yeah, because there isn't really one in Port Damali, so he's just been training and traveling with Master Payne. So.
Yeah.
Been on the road.
Yeah.
He's not a cloistered monk. All right.
Yeah.
Lucas is unimpressed.
What?
Always.
Could have Ben either aided by somebody or with somebody else also making a check. Give me investigation or perception to see if you can find Question.
Does anybody want to roll that with my help?
I will do perception with your help.
So good at perceiving. Also, was that this good?
Yeah, the 18. 18 it is.
Alrighty.
Perception.
So, looking around, there are a handful of people wearing blue robes or robes with blue accents that are very clearly part of the clergy here, as it were. Basically, the clergy are librarians for the most part. Looking around, you don't see Question right away, but asking a few people, you are pointed to a place you could find her. a little deeper into the temple, past just the open, public periodicals and whatnot. There are some chambers that are just little more empty, serene places where one could meditate or study or do anything like that. And you do find question in one such place.
Odd question before we go on. Regular type of question.
Before you go to question. But before that, a question.
And I don't know if you'll know this. This is kind of a weird question, but would you know if something like bowing or something else would be a standard formal greeting for the Cobalt Soul? The only other source I can think of is Bo from Critical Role, and she is not the best example for Cobalt Soul
Etiquette.
protocol. So
not good on the etiquette and the protocol, and
not even a little bit
polite greetings. So I don't know what you're talking about.
So I'm just wondering if that's like a thing, because Ben would try his best to maintain etiquette if that's a thing.
Ben probably doesn't know this, so Ben can try his best.
Then again, I like the idea of like he's just gonna start bowing to people, and then I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, kid?"
With an 18 perception, would Ix be able to see people greeting each other, like to give him an idea of, oh, that's interesting. You never
were looking
greeted
for
us like
question,
that.
not for greeting.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm gonna go
That's
with
fair.
it. Ben's gonna bow to a few people as we go along, and as soon as we see question, oh, hey, question.
Keep your
And when
voice
we get
down.
close, oh, sorry. When we get closer to her, he'll bow to her too.
I will say, as you are bowing to some of the random people that you pass by, there's a mix of them either like kind of half bowing back awkwardly and unsure, or ignoring you.
They're just like,
I think Ben will pick up on that pretty quickly.
Glance up at you and go back to whatever they were
doing, walking around.
But yes, you run up to question. Do you still give her an enthusiastic bow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
She may be the last one, but he'll give one to her.
Okay. No, she sees you come in. Well, especially when you yell her name. Gets up excitedly. Oh, hi, Ben. It's good to see you. I didn't expect to see you right away.
Yeah,
what are you doing here?
Well, we came to, talk about. I want to share our story. To share knowledge with the Cobalt Soul, and we wanted. My friends and I were hoping to do some research to see if we could figure out what to do next.
Well, you've come to the right place for research, I dare say. Come. Is there something in particular you are looking for? Just books, or people who know things, or?
Well, for me, I was hoping to meet the High Curator and tell them personally, but my friends, they may want to do research independent of that. So, I guess you guys, what did you want to look up?
Mostly anything related to the Apotheon, and then a few things here and there that's not related to that. Best discussed behind closed doors, I feel.
Would it be okay if they do some research on their own? Or do they have to be, does one of us have to like go with them?
Well, a lot of the library is open to the public, so that's not a problem. We have some archives of rarer texts that were hard to come by, and we don't want anything happening to them. You have to be escorted for those. But a lot of the library, just anybody can step up. There's catalogs.
A good place to start, then.
Yeah.
All right. Did you want to speak to the main curator first?
Ben definitely does, but yeah.
Well, I feel it's best if we all tell the story, or at least be present for it.
You guys want to come?
Let's see. Well, the High Curator himself, usually pretty busy, usually just up in his office, not to be disturbed except for important stuff. I don't see him very often, but I can I can introduce you to my superior, Iwo Jalare. He's the one that has the other sending stone that I gave you.
Okay.
And I think he said, let's see. Yes, I told him who you were and who your master was, and he got in contact with the Cobalt Soul in Wildmount, and so they corroborated your story. So we're all good there.
Ben probably looks a little visibly relieved. Not that he was thinking they were going to doubt him. Until this very moment, he wasn't thinking that. And as he processes all of that, he's like, oh, that's good.
Thank goodness. I'm believed. All right. To say his name again.
1 second. Where is this man's name? Oh, I said it wrong the first time anyway. So let me copy paste this name into the Roll20. Iwo Zalare.
Iwo.
And disappointingly, not in the big long list of pronunciations in the front of the book. What the heck, guys?
They don't expect you to talk to him.
I guess not.
They really do.
Oh, so they
Like-
they looked at that name and they're like, you know how to say this. This
That
one's
one-
easy.
That one
Who's
makes
gonna mess
sense.
up Iwo Zalare?
I'll leave the X's out of it. We don't have enough room to print it in the pronunciation guide.
That's what it is. It doesn't have an X. It doesn't make the cut for pronouncing.
Sounds good to me, though. Iwo Zalare.
All right. To Iwo.
Trying to look, and yet there's, you know what is in the pronunciation guide? Wildmount.
Really? That's messed up. I feel like that's a slap in the face. I feel like that's.
And Katha. Which, I don't know,
Katha, the
maybe
moon?
Catha. Katha. I guess maybe people might think some of those are long A's, one or both. I don't know.
Katha.
Exandria.
Atha.
People aren't playing this story unless they know what Exandria is, probably. There are some weird ones in here. Like, probably people want help with Bazozan and Jorhas. All the X, all the ones with X's.
Oh yeah, the Zorha's one. That I would have needed a pronunciation guide for that. I
I
would.
mean, Jorhas.
See, you just said it, and I still said it wrong.
Ruidus. That one's in there. It's everyone's favorite moon.
Fuck that moon. But yes. All right, question. Take us to Iwo. Iwo. To Zalare.
Okay. Let me see what information I have about this person. Okay. Okay. All right. So, question: are all of you are going to meet Iwo?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds like it, yeah.
All right. So, question leads you through a couple of hallways. Apparently, before she gets to her destination, she sees him in a different direction from where she expected. But she leads you to a half-orc gentleman wearing the cobalt blue that you've been seeing a lot in this place in particular. And she says, Expositor Iwo, these are the people I was telling you about that helped me out in Bazozan. Good to meet you. Good to meet you.
Ben leaves
I
over
am
to question.
Iwo Zalare.
Ben leads over to question. Do I bow?
You do not need to bow. That's fine. I mean, if you want to, you can.
Hi, I'm Bernard Kuhn. These are my friends. This is Ixarvea, we have Lucas, we have Arno, and we have Thorne.
Arno's just like, God damn it! Sorry.
The room, not an office per se. It's more like, university libraries. They'll have all kinds of rooms that just have a table and chairs for anybody to come in and study. You have study groups or whatever. It's like one of those.
Study room. It's a study room.
A conference room, study room, multi-purpose room.
Perfect.
But yes, so you explain to him however much of the story you give. What are the bullet points of what you tell him? What information are you sharing?
Ben would awkwardly start in Hupperduke, not because it's important, but because that's where everybody met. And then he would go into talking about the festival and everything we participated in. Oh, and then we were underground in a cave, and we started swimming, and then we found this crazy ancient grotto that just opened up for us. It was like it opened up just for us, and he'll start telling about the jewel. Ben will probably talk about you guys, by the way, but he is going to be smart enough to try to avoid any super personal details. But more just how you were involved in finding things. And we didn't just find this jewel down there. There was a vision that came along with it. This guy named Elixian, who I don't
is the Apotheon.
Fill in the blanks. He's the Apotheon. And then we also went to Bazzoxan. And did we have another vision before we got to Bazzoxan, or did that wait for us to get to Bazzoxan? And that can be in character. That's okay.
The vision in the grotto happened first and independently. The Elder of Jigao the next day pointed us in the direction of Bazzoxan.
Because he also had a dream.
He also visions for some reason, unless it was only 2, and I'm just misremembering.
No, there's 3 visions.
No, there were 3 because we had it at the abandoned temple.
Yep.
Two of them in Bazzoxan. Yeah.
In Bazzoxan, at the temple, this really cool temple that had all this glass and stuff, and a tree, and it seemed like it was a temple to this cool guy, and talking about all of his heroism and stuff.
Well, the temple was also for, I think it was Avandra, right? The Changebringer or the Moonweaver? I can't remember. Okay, the Changebringer.
Thank you, Ix. Very good. And then we met Question and some other nasty people. And he might tell a little bit about Aloysia and whatever, but he doesn't really spend time on her because she's fucking Aloysia. So we went in there and we were looking for the other Cobalt Soul members, and sadly they didn't make it, but we tried. And while we were there, we danced with some demons and we did some other cool stuff. And the pendant let us get into some places I don't think we would have got into otherwise. And we went inside a man's chest. And while we were inside of that man, there was this crazy
you went into his
temple there.
abs. Don't get it twisted.
You're not a character. You don't get to talk.
I don't know what you mean. I am all of the characters -5.
And there we had another vision. It was pretty crazy, and something happened to the amulet, and we got into a fight with that stupid Aloysia person, and it didn't go very well for her. It went very bad. We had some other friends, and he'll tell a bit about his other friends, and they helped us out. They saved my life, and that's actually something I wanted to talk about, but I'll talk to you about that later. But for right now, this is everything that just happened with the jewel and the visions and stuff.
So in between all of that, we would. So, I would hope. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Stars.
I was going to ask: do you all of you let him tell the entire story, starting from Hupperduke and Jigao, or do you interrupt him and tell him to move along to the important bits?
I think when he started out in Hupperduke, Ix would be like, oh, "Okay, you can forward to Jigao where we started the vision," and he would eventually get there. She would let him tell his story, but if anything was missing, or if more important bits like specifics of the visions, anything that was depicted as far as imagery goes, she would mention.
So I'm just imagining, if he's telling all the things that happened between Jigao and Bazzoxan, you remember how many sessions that took us. Imagine if we had done that between Hupperduke and Jagao, because that was almost the same distance.
Oh
Ben
god, no.
starts to launch into the travel time between Hupperduke and Jagao, and Lucas is just like, we fought things. Things died. We won.
It wasn't that much to tell there, to be honest. Although he
I
might
don't
talk
know.
about the demons that they fought, and just hanging out at that one cool circle place. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can move him
So
along
we
there.
would help guide him to move along certain things because Ben doesn't want to give all the details.
It's like there
But
were
yeah.
giant tortoises. It was super cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Can't forget
No.
those.
We all of us loved the giant tortoises.
So,
We did.
Lucas over here like, fuck that tortoise. I think collectively as a group we've decided that we are showing the Jewel of Three Prayers, correct? To these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're showing that to
Arno would
everybody.
trust the Cobalt.
Anybody who asks, hey, you want to see my pendant? Come here.
Oh my
Listen.
god, Lucas, if you have a problem, you can talk about it.
Oh, there's no problem. It's just really funny.
He's like, he gets to flash his pendant. Where's my badge? I can see it. I know what's going on.
See, this is why
It
Lucas
is
needs to
on
join the
list,
Allegiance.
okay?
Because
No.
this is why
don't
Lucas
say
needs
it.
to join them, because they have badges.
No! Don't say it!
No, thank you. Lucas has no interest in joining an organization.
Okay. So, yes, we would let Ben tell his little tidbits, but then hurry him along or gently direct him to certain things. Obviously, the highlights would be the visions themselves, where they occurred,
Mhm.
how they occurred, if anybody else was present with us, the information that we got as far as the connection of Brutus and, of course, the Jewel of Three Pairs for the Moonweaver, the Changebringer. We would drop the name Apotheon versus Elixion, realizing that Elixion is the Apotheon. And then from there, I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? Well, Ix has her
Well,
sword, but
Arno would bring up the consortium
yeah.
Mhm.
because
And their
he
need
would
for
want them to
ruidium.
know, and that for some
He
reason
seems-
at least one of them seems very invested in the jewel.
Yeah. He seems familiar already when you mention the consortium. He doesn't ask, "Oh, who's that?"
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I am a little confused on how the beginning of that leads to the end of that, but okay. I
Ben
feel
just wants to
like
make sure you have all the information.
I feel like everything that was important got in there at some point. That's a lot. So
It is.
what are you planning to do from here?
Well, we're looking to see if you have any literature or information on the Apotheon, as well as any you might have on the Moonweaver Changebringer. And then, of course, any mention of the Forgotten Hero or a city underwater. At this point, Ruidium seems to be involved in it because any vision we have, he's pretty much engulfed in these red tentacles, vines, if you will, and they glow. And from the description that Aloysia gave, my suspicion is it is Ruidium, but we only saw the vision itself.
Oh.
We weren't really able to interact much apart from talking to Elixion. So yes,
So-
research.
And Elixion did say that people, I think, were like mining it above him.
Yeah, and it was hurting him.
Yeah.
Which
So it sounds like you already know about Kale Morrow.
What?
That surprises me. Not many people outside of the city would know about that.
Do we know?
Yes,
about
well,
that?
it's very important to what we're looking into. So,
Yes. How do you spell it?
Well, you see.
I'm sorry.
I've only heard it said before. I haven't actually seen it written down anywhere.
Ooh, would you show him the song that you translated?
Yes.
Well, I guess I would say that not in character. I'm sorry. I would assume we would have talked about this beforehand. I'm sorry. Keep hearing.
There you go. Posted the spelling in the Roll20.
Lucas said what he said
Appreciate
with
it.
full confidence, for the record. He fucking knows
Also-
everything there is to know about this place. However, if you'd like to tell us more, we're listening.
Also, looking at my notes, I see that Ben and Ix both know Marquesian.
Yes, we do.
True story.
Kale Morrow, I believe that's Marquesian. Yes. Yes, it seems to be. That is Marquesian for the Drowned City.
Ooh.
Oh, cool. So he would drop that, and when there was a beat of silence, Ix would go, "Oh yeah, the drowned city. It makes sense for what we're looking for."
Does it?
How many others know about the drowned city?
Well, the Allegiance of Allsight, first and foremost, they control the only known entrance to the old city below Ank'harel. Apparently, somehow the consortium has been able to slip in and out, which has been very vexing for the Allegiance, understandably. But yes, it's not a huge secret. Over in the Sigil District, just a bit north of their biggest university, there is. Let me make sure I get the name right. Sigil District. They refer to it as the Maw of Kale Morrow.
Oh, is that this little?
That's what that is.
Okay.
As seen from above, the toothy maw of Kale Morrow.
Hmm.
I'm just hearing Matt's voice in my head.
Yes.
Can't have a maw without it being toothy. But yes, so the entrance is controlled by the Allegiance. They commission the contingent of Scar Bearers to keep watch over it. So it is the Scar Bearers have an impressive reputation. So I don't know if the consortium has found other ways in, or if they use magic to slip by, or what their means are. But that is something that they've been trying to sort out, because it is a bit of a smudge on the mercenaries' reputation.
And any information you have in the consortium, we'll happily look into as well, considering we are not with them or for them.
Let's see. Well, publicly, they claim to be an organization that focuses on collecting and studying folklore, which is a load of bull. I'm sure that is part of what they do, but it goes much deeper than that. I know that is apparently why they are interested in Ruidium. They're also the ones who named it that, and somehow the name stuck. The Allegiance hates that as well. I'm sure somebody there from the chateau would have loved to be the one to name that stuff.
Did the consortium discover it, or did the alliance, or is it alliance or allegiance? I keep going back and forth. I'm sorry.
Allegiance.
Allegiance. Okay. Did the allegiance discover it first, or the consortium?
Initially, it was the Allegiance, and they tried to keep it under wraps, but you know how that goes. Didn't last very long before word got out of the discovery. Especially when they started hiring mercenaries to guard the entrance.
And the mercenaries have no ties to the consortium, right?
No. Nothing of the sort. Let's see. I know the Scar Bearers have been around Ank'harel for a long time. They have a much more honorable reputation than what anyone would associate with the consortium.
So bribery is likely not a cause.
Individual members maybe, but there's enough of them at the site that I would think that would be difficult. They would have to bribe half a dozen of them successfully.
And there aren't any markets for ruidium, right? It's not just flooding the streets.
No, not at this point. Anyway, the groups who find it tend to keep it to themselves. Trying to study it, see what they can do with it.
Do you have any studies on this, or a sample we can look at?
We do not possess any ruidium at the library here. The Allegiance handles the official matters related to ruidium, and anything else probably is controlled by the consortium.
That's fair. All right. If we happen to research here in the open part of the library, if we run into an area or a document that references something that's a bit more exclusive, how would we go about checking that out from the more guarded collection?
Well, luckily for you, I am the one who handles requests for information in the private library.
Oh, wonderful. So I would simply just put a request in with you?
Indeed.
All right. Do you have any good places to start?
Where did his information go? I scrolled away to look at something else and he disappeared.
I'm sorry.
Where are you, Iwo? There he is.
You said I'm taking a break.
He was on the same web page, but a different section. Let's see. But yes, he accepts and registers requests for the public archive or for the private archive.
Oh.
So, but yes, if you are searching for information on the prime deities or the Apotheon, he is actually fairly noteworthy to the history of our city. So you could probably find some information on him in the public shelves. But if you do need something that is references material you cannot find, come to me.
Be sure to do that.
Oh, quick question. What is the relationship between the Cobalt Soul and the Allegiance?
Well, we're both centers of knowledge, learning, study, collecting and preserving, books, written records, anything like that. So we have similar interests. We work together at times. We have some shared rivalries, such as the consortium. We don't see eye to eye on everything, but enough of the time we have worked together numerous times in the past.
Could you get us into their private library?
If you mean the Crystal Chateau Library, I'm afraid that I cannot help you with. That is exclusive to students of the Chateau and members of the Allegiance.
Well, never hurts to ask, regardless.
Asking is usually free.
All right.
Depending on who you ask.
That's true. All right. From there, Ix will kind of look to the rest of the party and kind of give an eyebrow raise like anything else before we start digging through the shelves. Nope. All right. What would you like us to roll, stars, for? Should we just go down the list?
So what are you looking for? Or who is looking for what?
Oh, that's a good point. Divide and conquer. All right, who wants to look up what? Let's see here.
Let's make a list. And then is Ben gonna stick around to do more talking while we go research, or is he gonna research with us first?
He sure is gonna do that first thing. I was already planning on saying that, so.
Okay, you mentioned it earlier. I wasn't sure
Yep.
before Ick starts
No,
divvying out roles.
good call there. So, yeah, that's his plan.
So what's Ben doing? I'm sorry.
Ben's busy. The
Okay,
rest
cool.
of us will research.
That's freaking rude. We're in his freaking library. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So the topics at hand are Elixion, specifically the Apotheon.
Mhm.
Anything to do with those visions in general, but I'm sure that's going to be big enough on its own. Then there is the Moonweaver and Changebringer, also known as Avandra. I don't know if we know the name of the other god or not. I don't remember ever writing it down.
The third god.
So, no, not the third god. There's Avandra, the Changebringer, and then the Moonweaver has another name, but I can't remember what it was.
Sayanine? Arno would know
Yes.
it because
Sayanine?
Yeah,
Okay. So I think it's safe to say that that's probably a good research topic for Arno if he so chooses.
That's another one that ought to be in the pronunciation guide is Sahanine, because I'm not 100% how to say that one.
That's not in the pronunciation guide? You've got to be kidding me.
Arno, when the topic was brought up, he probably would also mention that he's interested in going to their temples because the Changebringer and Moonweaver don't have temples in the Empire.
Oh,
So he wants.
They're too chaotic to have imperial temples.
Yeah, they're bad.
They are not personas non gratis, but deities non gratis. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get like arrested for being found out to worship them.
Oh yeah, that's not allowed.
Not on the approved list.
So I've got 3 things I want to try researching while we're here. Uk'otoa, obviously. Don't necessarily expect to find much here in the desert about a sea serpent. But, we're going to try anyway, because maybe they'll at least have more than Bazazan did. I also want to look up stuff about Zahir again. And I also want to look up... I don't know how to phrase this, but like... I don't remember if we know this term in character or not, but basically I want to try researching vestiges or examples of magical items created by gods, that kind of thing.
They've called the pendant a vestige multiple times.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I couldn't remember if that was like out of character knowledge or in character knowledge.
No, they explained that to us in character.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that would fall underneath the visions. Almost kind of.
No doubt, this is surely a vestige of divergence.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, vestiges and I guess just magical items as created by
people doing that, not even casting identify. They just look at it and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a vestige."
Yeah, it's just so common here.
The book decided that that's not how I would have gone, but I guess it's expedient. Oh yeah, total vestige.
Okay. Ix would research Sassy, specifically the engraving that popped up after the first vision, and then any information she can find on Tiamat, which she highly doubts she'll find, or specifically Pax in regards to warlocks. But the main topics are what she'll start with first. So, does anybody else have anything else to add to the list before I go over it again?
I mean, Kill Morrow, we should probably look into. I think that might be separate from, like, visions and just Elixion.
That's a good point. I'll write that down.
Depending on what its history is, it's probably a vast history.
All right, so that gives us Thorne's patron, Ix's patron, Zahir, vestiges / items for vestiges, what could contain a vestige. Ix's sword, Sassy, and then the Ruidium research, Cal Morrow, where did it? Elixion / the Apotheon, and then Moonweaver / Changebringer for Avandra, and I can't pronounce the S name. Sahanine?
Sahanine.
Sahanine. Cool. All right.
Instead of say my name, it's Sahanine.
I can't. I'm not. Nope. I'm not even gonna. There's nothing I need to add to that. So that gives us 1, 2, 3.
It was a complete thought. You don't need to add anything.
9 topics, excluding Ben. Okay. So Thorne will obviously work on his patron, Zahir, and the vestiges. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I don't want to
Arno.
research the things I explicitly said I want you to research.
I don't know if you want somebody else to look into it. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't assuming anything. Where is my highlight button? I dislike that there's no highlight button. All right.
Rude.
And then it is rude. But I also installed something on here that I probably shouldn't have because it's fucking everything I'm doing. And then does Lucas have any preference for anything specific?
No, he will be decidedly quiet until you hand him something to do.
Great, you're gonna do the biggest chunk, which is Elixion / the Apotheon.
My favorite. Awesome. Great. Let me know when we get there, stars. Don't just speed through.
I'm ready for however this is gonna happen. I don't know what, but I'm so ready. Could not tell you.
Lucas is just gonna not do it. He's just gonna look at a book and be like,
he's straight up. He's like, yeah, there's a whole bookshelf there. Just pick something.
It's like, yeah, no, sorry, I didn't find anything.
All right, and then
sits down next to Arno with books, just slides the books over to Arno, leans back in his chair.
Speaking of Arno, is he good looking up Moonweaver and Changebringer?
Yeah.
All right. I think those are probably big enough on their own. So, in the event that you have spare time, we'll figure something out. But in the meantime, Ix will start with Ruidium and Kalmoro first. Research Warlocks, Pax, and Tiamat, and Sassy separately, if it allows time. Okay. I think that's it. How do you want to do this, stars?
Dirtis. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have things written down in a particular order. Let's roll a d4. That's Arno. Roll Investigation.
Investigation? Okay. Oh wait, because I'm Jack of all trades now, I get even more bonuses. Hold on. No,
this is awesome.
Thou dost.
Investigation is intelligence, right?
Oui.
Oh, that's
I
good.
get that.
Damn, what bonuses you get?
Jack of all trades, basically anything I'm not proficient in, I get to add half my proficiency bonus.
Oh yeah. Good old bard.
And gets that racial bonus, if I recall.
Yes, you do.
Get that D4.
D4 plus... Not bad, not bad. I shouldn't be surprised.
So Arno got a 30.
I swear to God.
No, it's only a 24.
Jesus fucking... Damn it, Avandra!
What did you roll?
I rolled a 17, plus I got a 3 from the D4, plus I got an extra 1 for the Jack of all trades, plus 3. Wait, so I didn't do the math right. 20. No, I did. Yep, 24.
Where did the extra 3 come from?
3 plus 3 plus 1.
My
yeah,
actual investigation bonus is plus 3. Then I got the D4 because I have a race feature thing. That's a plus 3 because I rolled a 3. Then I get half proficiency bonus, so that's +1, and then I got a 17.
Wait, so does the
Fucking-
plus... What's your intelligence score?
Intelligence score is
That's
2.
the plus. I was gonna say.
Okay, so that +3 already includes your jack of all trades.
What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
As
it
if you're-
factors in automatically on D&D
Oh,
Beyond.
it does it automatically. Never mind. Okay, so I'm
So
like
Arno
23
only
then.
got a 23.
Oh,
Holy.
oh my! What are we gonna do? Fuck! Someone's gonna have to help him. Jesus Christ!
Now, if this was a religion check,
Oh
that
my
would
god!
have been a
Religion check. Do a
25.
religion check.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. It's not a 30 because it's only jack of all trades, not expertise.
Yep.
That's how you get 30s.
He's expertising insight later. He told us.
What an expertise he is.
Excuse me. Lucas is the expertise. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay. So Arno was researching the Moonweaver and the Changebringer, presumably in the context of what you all are trying to do here. Let's see. Well, you first and most easily find basic info that you already knew. You find their what their providences are, travel, luck, night, all that good stuff. You do find some information referring to the two of them together, referring to a hero from overseas on another continent, which you realize quickly is Wildmount, because you're not on Wildmount anymore. That's still taking some getting used to. Has Arno ever left Wildmount?
No.
Okay. First time overseas, and you didn't even cross a sea.
He's not mad about it. 100%. He was not literally talking to Thorne about how excited he'd be to go on an actual ship. And then we proceeded to not go on the ship.
It'd be so much fun. Oh, damn it.
We fast traveled.
This is fucking bullshit. This never happens in real life.
Are there any particular tidbits about these goddesses that you're looking for?
Oh, he got us there. Anything in relation
23 is
to...
pretty good. I could get you something specific if you wanted.
Oh, let's see. So obviously he wants to know like everything he can tied to Elixian. I don't know. Then he would just deep dive, honestly, because this is his jam. But I can't think of any specific questions.
I think going back to them answering Elixian, if there's anything that would indicate why they answered his prayers or how they heard him, because I mean he's from a whole nother continent.
Right.
How did these deities just go to another continent to answer this dude's prayers? Like, were they just visiting? Was it a vacation? Was it
Moonweaver and the god? They're not from Marquette. Like, this is not their continent. Yeah. And then they like fucked off.
Yeah.
So
the whole world is all of the gods' world.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. My bad.
Playground.
Yeah. They don't just like live in New
ignorant.
York in a penthouse.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, so for example, I'm assuming Arno would know this because he literally was in those woods. The woods that Arno like went to that were north of Rexingtrum used to be like there used to be a temple to the Moonweaver there before the Empire, banned her.
Right. Okay, I was trying to find some of the specific information in the book. Okay, well, you do find mentions in stories of each of those goddesses that speaks of a great hero who later became known as the Apotheon. He you find info about how he besieged. This is going to kind of overlap with what Lucas is researching.
It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
I'm actually going to say, Lucas, go ahead, also roll an investigation, and we'll say you two eventually are
Converge.
reaching for the same book on the shelf.
Counterpoint. Lucas does not go delving into books.
Fair enough.
He does, however, pick out somebody relatively someone who might find him relatively attractive, and does absolutely attempt to talk them into looking his things up for him.
Okay. Make a persuasion check.
Cool. Awesome. Channel divinity.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Lucas is going to be the one that gets a 30.
Crap.
So I'm doing a persuasion check, you said?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and do Okay. All right. So 13 plus 8 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21 plus
we
5
see how Lucas rolls.
22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
No, God, it's gonna get to X and she's gonna fucking biff this roll. Just God damn it!
Perfect. All right, man. I keep calling for 30s and it's not happening. What gives?
Sorry,
Okay.
I grabbed a 26 though. So
Oh, sir.
I mean, I guess that'll work. Okay. So Lucas looks around, finds somebody who, when you make eye contact, you realize that they look away, like they're trying not to look too forward or anything. But yeah, no, you find somebody, you approach them, you do your Lucas thing. They seem like they're already kind of a studious individual, and we're just looking around at for something for their own, just like casual interest. So giving them something with a goal, they seem to be into that apparently. Chatting with you all the while, it might slow them down a little bit, but you are able to steer the flirting or whatever your approach is to keep them engaged, but you also keep them on task very effectively.
so good at this.
It's like, now if I could just find... Oh, and Lucas is like, I think it's that one over there, as he says from his chair, 10 feet away from the
What are you
bookshelves.
talking about, Stars? This is the perfect opportunity to be up close and personal.
Okay, fine. Lucas has his ways. Okay, so searching for the Apotheon. So the person you're talking to reaches for the same book as Arno, and their hands touch, and Lucas is a little bit jealous that he missed out on that moment.
Serves you right, jerk.
What did you get for being lazy?
It's called efficient. This person can research way better than I can.
Okay,
So I can't even blame him for that logic.
So the 2/3 of you, Lucas, Arno, and nameless person doing research on
Extra.
Lucas's behest. NPC number 74. Realize that your topics are kind of converging a little bit, so they compare notes. So Arno and Lucas's proxy find information on how the goddesses interacted with Elixion, as you know him. He first beseeched Sehanine the Moonweaver, asking her for help in the fight against the betrayers during the calamity, and also wanting to just help the people that were downtrodden. And in a moment of need, he reached out to her, and some of her power kind of came to him condensed into the initial form that you saw of the golden circle that is the jewel of not yet 3 prayers at the time. Find later he became like a great hero during the battles against the demons and all of that good stuff. Eventually, things you know about, they came to Bazozan, assaulted the Betrayer's Rise. Elixion in that battle was about to fall, very nearly died, called out to Avandra, and she saved his life. And his power continued to grow from there. The story continues on beyond what Arno has found about the Moonweaver and the Changebringer. You find allusions to a third goddess, Corellon the Archheart. Seems to be the third goddess that aided Elixion. He had.
You can put that in the chat.
Oh, I mean, I suppose.
For spelling purposes, please.
Coraline did this?
Dude, don't bring that cursed story. No. The whole movie was creepy as fuck.
There we go. Corellon the Archheart.
Archheart. Ooh, Archheart.
And I finally confirmed by going and finding a timestamp that Matt said Archheart and not Arkheart, which was my other guess. But no, when Elixion came to Marquette to face off against Grumsh the Ruiner, which you had heard a little bit about from the vision, or maybe from talking to Elixion, I forget when this came up. But yeah, he came here to face Grumsh, came to a city on Marquette surrounded by jungle. Grumsh, standing, hundreds of feet tall, raised his spear, tried to strike it down into the city, aiming to destroy it, the whole place in a single strike. Elixion stood there and met his strike. Deflected it with the help of Corellon, helped him withstand that. That was the last anyone saw of Elixion. That is also the last anyone saw of that city. Apparently Grumsh was aiming to... yes, he was not trying to destroy the city. He was trying to destroy the continent. And Elixion's deflection managed to reduce that to just the city getting destroyed. The name of that city is no longer known, but it is reportedly sunk under the surface, became a flooded lake, and a new city was later built over top of the ruins in what is now a desert. That city became known as the Jewel of Hope, or Ank'harel. So from your research, you would gather the city where Elixion was last seen is beneath you, currently.
So he's in Kalmaro? Moro? Kale? I can't say it.
Yeah.
Kale Morrow.
Kale Maro. I need to put this in parentheses. Kale.
Let me
Okay.
see if that's in the pronunciation guide. Yes, it is.
Damn.
Here is how they write the pronunciation. Kale Morrow.
Mawo.
Mawo is what brings us together today.
No.
That was good. That was so smooth. You need to have an NPC that talks like that.
No.
I suppose I could do this. I would just have to find a place to insert them.
I'm gonna have to mute myself if you keep doing this shit.
You told him to.
It is my
I don't
pleasure
make him do anything.
to oblige.
Come on,
Anyway.
he does it so well, though. Please, like, come on, he does it so well. You can't tell me.
Thank you. I have practiced for absolutely no reason other than my own entertainment.
I love it. All right, so that covers Avandra and the Moonweaver, because I can't pronounce her name, no matter how hard I try. And then we discovered a third goddess. How do you say her name? Corellian? Corellon?
Corellon.
Corellon. Here you go, Heather.
Let me see if she is not in
No.
the pronunciation guide.
Why would she? Why would she?
Yes, apparently you finally know the name of the third goddess who empowered the Jewel of Three Prayers when Elixion possessed it.
Perfect. And then
Oh, yes. So again, that was the last anyone saw of him.
and we're making the connection that the sunken city is Kael'maro under the Jewel of Hope.
Mhm.
Holy shit. Okay. God, this is crazy.
So there is a city below
Also-
this city.
I just want everyone to know that Arno 100% would just have started leaning over Proxy's shoulder to like start reading it too.
Mhm.
By the way, their name is just Proxy now.
Oh,
I mean,
Would-
Prolix, Proxy, it could
it
fit
makes
in.
sense. Would Lucas or Arno move their research to Kael'maro? Since it kind of what's it called? Since it overlaps a little bit, or are we waiting a second?
Well, that since there's a connection there, we'll just go to X's research. Go ahead and roll me an investigation, if you would.
Oh, here we go, guys. I ain't gonna be no 30, I'll tell you that shit. That is a natural 20, good sir.
It ain't gonna be a
Yeah.
30, but it's gonna be as good as I can roll.
I'm not getting anything better. 24
Well, heck.
total.
Oh, well, all right then. Well, that sure gives you more than what I was gonna say.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Give it to me.
Okay, so researching Kael'maro and Ruidium,
Yep.
you find actually nothing about Ruidium
Nah, that makes sense.
in the
I didn't have high
in the
hopes.
public sections.
Oh,
So
was
in
it
that-
Ewo? Ewo, excuse me. She would not say it like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh my. Not gonna say what I was gonna say there. We don't need more referential humor right now.
Oh.
And I can't believe I'm saying that. But Kael'maro, you do find some information on Kael'maro. Mostly that Ank'harel was built over the ruins of an old city that used to be here, surrounded by jungle that is now desert. The original name of that city still is unknown. It is only referred to by its modern designation of the sunken city. Do find just some general information about it, like it was predominantly populated by elves and orcs, the two races being not entirely distant relatives of one another, which is very similar to a lot of the population currently in Ank'harel. There's a lot of humans here, but also a lot of elves, a lot of orcs, and also goblinoids and various other races, but those are the most common.
Okay.
With a natural 20, it seems that a lot of the information that you're looking for is not in this publicly available section.
Perfect. At that point, Ix would then petition Ewo. Iwo? Ewo?
Ewo.
Ewo.
Somewhere in between what you were saying.
God.
Woe is you for that pronunciation.
Ewu and Iwo. Nope, it's Ewo. Or at
Ewo.
least that's how I'm saying it. I could be completely wrong and one of yours could be right.
That's fine.
Who
Ewo it
knows?
is. It's okay. Ewo it is. I'm okay with this. So she would petition him to see if she can get more information on Kael'maro in the restricted section.
The
If at all
restricted
possible.
section. This is Harry Potter all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or worse, expelled. Okay. I know that was only part of the quote. Just leave me alone.
Quite all right. Quite all right. Okay. Yeah. Ix returns to Iwo, putting in an official request to be admitted to the private archive.
He says, "Okay, cool. We'll see you in 3 months." She'd be like, no.
Let's see. Actually, he does comment. I believe Question said she gave her sending stone to one of your people. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I have noted your request. It will be reviewed. I will try to make it as quick as I can for you. It will not be months. Do not worry about that. But no, we will contact you through the sending stone when your request has been approved or denied.
Is there an appeal process if it is denied? Like, what if I have additional information or knowledge to give to maybe expedite the process?
That will also be reviewed. Do you have additional information to expedite the process?
It's not so much information as it's an item, and she will produce the Ioun stone of absorption to show him.
Let's see. Let me roll something real quick. Okay. He recognizes the significance of the stone, says it has been a long time since I've actually seen one of these. Where did you get it, if I may ask?
From my dead brother. I do not know where he got it from.
You could see him about to open his mouth, trying to tactfully ask that as his follow-up question. Fair enough.
Would this, by chance, whether it be through study or an exchange, would this expedite the request by chance?
He holds out his hand and asks, "May I?"
She will set it in his hand, in his palm, gently. She won't hesitate to give it to him.
Very good. He takes it, he holds it between thumb and index finger and kind of looks up at it a little bit, just curious study. With your permission, I will present this stone to the High Curator, see if that expedites the decision.
Oh, I'm going to need collateral if you're going to hold on to it.
Very well then. I will tell him about it. And he gently hands it back to you.
She'll put it back in her pocket. All right, I will wait.
He pulls out some scratch parchment, writes a brief description of it, sticks that into his binder that he has of the official requests, so that he does not forget.
Well, I appreciate your candidness, if nothing else.
Nods in acknowledgement. We will
right.
let you know as soon as possible.
Perfect. From there, if Ix has time, then she'll research Sassy, Tiamat, the packs of warlocks and the like, but we can move on to Thorne first.
All right. So, Thorne.
Yee.
Trying to find information on Ukatoa, Zahir, and if it comes up, just general information on vestiges of divergence, or trying to find out about the one you guys have in particular?
I think it would be
like
the one we have in particular, but also if they have any information on known vestiges, that might be of interest as well.
Okay, other known ones and just kind of how they work in general, I presume.
Yeah, and how to identify them. Since, you know,
Okay.
apparently you can do it by sight in some way.
Apparently. Mercer. Alright, go ahead, roll me some investigation.
Okay.
This is not the shopping episode, this is the library episode.
An 11.
11. Okay, well, you find some information just generally about the betrayers. There's not a lot to be had here. It seems like studying of them is not necessarily encouraged for the general public. So there's just general information on, you know, recognizing iconography, what their purviews are, what to watch out for as far as, like, you know, cultists and whatnot. Idiot's Guide to not getting roped into a cult by accident. Let's see. For Zahir, you probably find more information about Zahir than Ukatoa. Ukatoa is kind of a footnote in what you do find. A lot of it is information you already had, I would say. You do find a little bit of information, though, I will say, on the vestiges. It is commonly thought that each of the prime deities had one particular item that they left behind on Exandria. Often they are in the possession of, like, you know, great heroes or people who have some great impact on the course of history. Usually they don't change hands willingly a lot of the time. Usually they are either taken from their previous owner, or if they're lucky, the previous owner died naturally and then somebody finds it, or it is left for them. But yeah, not typically something that you would find for sale. Usually when an individual finds them, they are in, like, a weaker state, and it seems like great feats of some kind might cause them to activate and unlock their power, as you have borne witness to, as you made progress in tracking down Elixian's whereabouts. That's about the extent of what you find on your topics.
Okay.
Some of the private libraries or the university libraries might have more information about Ukatoa and Zahir or specific vestiges. But in this public library that's just, you know, in the temple of the Mentor, that's what they seem to have.
I like to think that after cracking open, like, a few books, Thorne goes and, like, sits down wherever Lucas has, like, holed himself up. It's just like, I hate reading. Like,
I hate what?
I hate reading.
Lucas is like, I don't know. It seems like a pretty useful pastime.
I should have done what you did. Seduce somebody into doing the hard work for me.
They do look pretty good doing it for me, don't they?
Yeah.
Can't go anywhere. We're in a library, and he still manages.
A holy library, no less. This is a temple to the goddess of knowledge.
And he's over here like, hey, babe, you want to help me
Listen,
out?
he is using every ounce of his learned knowledge on how to get other people to do things for him.
And it's working beautifully, 100%. I mean, it's
Great.
It's a flawless plan. Okay. All right. Well, while they're fucking around.
So while all of the research is happening, Ben,
Yes.
So, what are you up to?
When the others leave the room,
Mhm.
and this would be what I had messaged you about, but Ben would like
Mhm.
to speak and ask about. He's going to go back into the story again about the Betrayer's Rise. There's some really bad things that happened there, and I don't remember much, but I also know that I died, and I think something might have happened that might be related and could be important. And I was wondering if you knew of any meditations or techniques or anything that might help me recover memories.
You're speaking to Iwo, or is this to
Evo,
question?
yes. To Evo.
Okay. He looks thoughtful as he considers your predicament. Oh, somebody drop out.
Andy sent a message
Yep.
that her internet went down.
Mhm.
That's no good.
Everybody's just having bad internet tonight.
That's just the theme of the day.
Mhm.
Kitty, I hope your internet is good while you're watching this and that we're not cutting in and out. Welcome back.
It'll at least be a
so-
YouTube video for Kitty, so she can like pause it and come back.
Let us buffer a little bit.
Yeah.
Turn down the video quality since we're just portraits right now, unless you're focused on the map or something.
Yeah, I'm focused on
But yes.
that for this whole session, basically.
Fair enough. But yes, Ben presents his predicament to Iwo, who considers what suggestions he can give. Well, there certainly are techniques people try to utilize to sort through old memories, things that they're having trouble remembering. I would suggest actually. He looks over. Question is still in the room, I presume. So she was there. She offered some side commentary while you were describing to him initially what happened to you all.
Mhm.
Question can probably help you with that from experience. It's like, oh yeah, I always have a lot on my mind, so I forget a lot of things, and so I have some meditation that helps me remember things that I forget.
I know exactly what that's like. Question. Oh, that's great.
So if you want, I can teach you some of that stuff.
I would love that. Can we get started today, or are you busy?
She looks at Iwo with a look that says, "Am I busy today?" No, you are not busy at the moment. Feel free. So with that confirmation, she gets excited again. It's like, all right, let's go find somewhere we can meditate then.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And there are places within the Temple of the Mentor that are meant for, quiet places for contemplation or again for study. Rooms similar to where you just were, but without like the tables and wooden chairs, but more cushions for sitting on. And not calmly decorated rooms, not overly decorated rooms. But yeah, question takes you to one such place. Motions for you to do as she does, as she gets down on one of the cushions and gets into a nice meditation posture.
Before Ben sits down, he takes Shifu and Uguay and sets them on a pillow of their own.
Gotcha.
Or cushion.
They do not make like question and enter meditative postures. They do as they do. Okay. But once you are in position, question does kind of do like a little guided meditation kind of thing. Gives you some like types of things to focus on, just in vague terms. Clearing your mind, focusing on specific things, blocking out anything that's not important. All the similar to other meditation techniques you've learned. Go ahead and make me a wisdom check with proficiency.
Okay. I'm looking to see if I have anything that can help me out with this before I do it. I knew you were going to ask for some check, but I don't think I do. So, oh well. All right, so a wisdom one with proficiency.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll that just as insight because
since
that'll be the same. Oh fuck.
Okay. So you are proficient in monk.
Yeah, not this time though.
Okay.
Too much on my mind.
I'm gonna say just cause I can. I'm the DM. I do what I want. You're technically being aided in this, so you can roll with advantage.
I will happily do that. Watch as it's worse.
No, it'll be better.
Oh, it's better.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right. Yeah, your mind wanders a little bit, but Question's voice keeps you on track. So you are thinking back. What are you trying to recall specifically?
Well, I just out of character. I don't know if you threw the detail in about the mask because it was interesting or if it's actually related to anything, but the way I'm interpreting this is Ben knows that he died. And he probably has a feeling like whatever he saw was important. So that'll be the first thing. But he also does want to know what happened when he was charmed, but less so.
Gotcha. So his death experience is most important to him, and the charmed period is secondary, but still would like to know. Okay. All right. With an 18, you think back. You remember being in a huff after everything that had transpired in the cavern with the acid pools. You remember pressing onward, caring little for what the dangers were, scaling down that cliff face with its odd features. You remember your mind slipping. You don't remember dying, but you remember no longer being on that cliff face. It was an odd sensation. There was no pain or fear or anything like that. Just suddenly you were somewhere else that was like being nowhere. Everything around you was just an empty expanse. You feel like you were at the time starting to realize what had happened to you. You had perhaps almost accepted it. That there is maybe nothing you could have done. Maybe there was. Who knows? You had turned. You remember seeing the face. Less a face, more of the mask. Just with a neutral expression on it. White porcelain. Despite the lack of expression, you could tell it seemed to be waiting for you to make a decision. And it was around that time that you heard your good friend Dermot's voice. He didn't seem to be speaking to you, but somehow his words got to you. Just his strong wish to not be too late. And you could feel that you had a choice, that you could return, or you could go to the face that you saw and see what came next. And you remember deciding that it was not yet time to see what came next here. You wanted to see what came next back where you were. And you remember waking up on the ground and seeing Dermot and Galceriad standing over you. And everything was sore. Everything hurt. Probably some things.
as Ben
Mhm.
is recovering this memory, he's describing the place and especially the mask out loud so that Question can hear.
Okay.
Like you might see in a cheesy video of somebody using hypnosis to recover memories, how they're
It's
usually
like,
just describing them as they go.
describe to me what you see.
Yeah,
The person,
that
and
sort of thing.
Ben still has his eyes closed.
Trying to
Talking.
maintain his focus, but also, describing what he's recalling.
Okay. Well, during the recounting of this, while you two were meditating, as such, um, you do hear kind of a surprised voice from Question. She didn't think that's where this meditation session was going, for one thing. Uh, but she's trying to keep her energy down a little bit so she's not ruining the session. Uh, it sounds like you saw the Dusk Maven, or at least how people from overseas describe her.
I will probably fail this check, but can I roll a religion check?
Go ahead. Watch this be your highest religion check yet.
I'd be okay with that. And that might be the case. Actually, that's what I got a 14 last time. So.
Well, hey. Well, thinking back, now that you have a clearer image of your head of what it was that you saw, you would have said that, oh, that's the Raven Queen.
Oh.
Waiting to accept you into the next realm. Apparently, people in Marquette do not refer to her as the Raven Queen, though. She is known here as the Dusk Maven. And whereas in Tal'Dorei and Wildmount, she's typically depicted as being dressed in all black except for the white porcelain mask. On this continent, the Dusk Maven is usually depicted with some vulture-like features. But still, has the neutral perspective of presiding over not just death, but also night, or twilight rather, and transitions, such as from day to night or life into death.
With that religion roll that I just did, would I have any idea of whether or not that's something that is described when people die, that they're going to see the Dusk Maven?
With that check, yes, usually it is believed by many that when people die, there are a lot of places you can go when you die. As long as you weren't like, a worshiper of demons and made a pact with one or promised your soul to somebody before you died, something like that. A lot of times, just like more common folk, or sometimes people who served the prime deities, when their souls pass, they are greeted by the Raven Queen or the Dusk Maven, or perhaps her champion, and you are kind of guided to wherever next is. What happens next is not necessarily known, because once you're there,
Yeah.
you're there. So,
I think Ben will spend some time meditating on that, and then also, obviously, as I said, try to come back to while he was charmed.
okay. Go ahead, make another check, still with advantage.
Hooray for
Wisdom
advantage.
proficiency. Make a monk check.
Monk check. That's a pretty good one.
Hey. So yeah, you think back to that battle in the cavern against those nasty stalagmites. Yeah, you remember helping destroy the last one, getting ready to go see what was the deal with that Aurora Watch soldier that you heard on the other side of the room. And thinking back, you didn't pay it any mind at the time, but you recall that drow woman did seem to be casting a spell that she claimed was going to help, but it was around that time that your head started to feel a little fuzzy. And it felt like somebody was telling you what to do. Do you remember just feeling or is similar to you had meditated on this previously, but just in a little more acute detail, you recall more specifically what happened with being told to cause harm to your nearest allies. And you remember, slashing at Ixarvea and her attempting, Lucas trying to help her fleeing with Lucas. You remember a look of vague frustration on Lucas's face from slightly too far away for him to do anything after that.
I apologized.
You're not there.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm not muted. Oh, shit.
Do you remember with your other targets too far away, you turned around and you saw Thorne. And you tried to bite Thorne.
Mm.
And you realized the implications of what that would have meant. And you are very relieved that Thorne, though very injured at the time, even though you had previously helped him out from that situation a bit, you remember in hindsight, you were very glad that Thorne was able to avoid the bite.
I'm rolling a Constitution saving throw to see if I can maintain my concentration, and I rolled pretty well, so I think Ben did not lose his concentration. So
his brow furrows.
I don't know if that would be better as Wisdom or Constitution in this instance. I guess it would be.
I would say
either way. That would be
a
the
concentration
same
check. A concentration check seems appropriate for that, and that would be Constitution for sure.
Okay.
But yes, you remember other details of the fight. Your friends trying to incapacitate you. Galceriad doing something that made you move more sluggishly. Enough blows were eventually you were attacked a lot by things that bounced off of you. That's very familiar to you. But eventually enough blows were done to chip away at you that you did fall unconscious. And when you woke up again, you were in your own mind.
Okay. I think that is enough. I think that covers everything Ben wanted out of this.
So, with questions help, your rolls were high enough that you pretty well remember all the details of what happened in both instances.
Actually, one more thing. I, the player, don't think that this is the case, but Ben might ask a question for her insight if she thinks that seeing the aspect of the Raven Queen, the Dusk Maven, if that was just something that is expected when we die, or if that needs to be studied further for the rest of our cause.
She kind of echoes what you got from your religion check.
Okay.
Well, if you hadn't promised your soul to another greater power, I suppose it's more or less expected, I guess. If you believe that sort of thing, I think most do.
Okay. All right. That covers it. Well, Ben will scoop up Shifu Nugwe and he'll bow to question in thanks, and I guess he'll go rejoin his friends.
She nods her head in a little half bow in return.
So.
All right. Well, that wasn't heavy at all, was it?
That was depressing as fuck.
So, Ix, your research didn't take very long because you could barely find anything. So you can look for your other topics.
We'll start with Sassy, specifically the inscription. The Forgotten Dreamer has awoken, drowning in his sea of red. Pressing onward, take hold this token to see you through a time of dread. Pretty much, I feel like it's alluding to Elixian, but I just want to confirm it.
All right. Go ahead and make another investigation check.
This ain't gonna be another natural 20. That'd be too fun. Oh, how about a 19? So 23 total.
I mean, I guess that's okay. It's not a nat 20.
I'm sorry. I could only produce one, I guess.
All right. So looking for any information, looking up that little poem, looking up anything you can think of that might relate to your sword, anything you recall from how your father described acquiring it, which I don't think we ever actually decided on, but Ix would probably know the story that doesn't exist yet. The 23. You don't find information that seems specifically to reference your sword that you have at your belt. It does seem to evoke other tales of magic weapons that people have acquired. That something will happen to interact with them or activate them, as it were, not entirely unlike a vestige of divergence. But yeah, no, there are stories of weapons like this that maybe either not like, even if not one of the prime deities necessarily, but like a lesser power, like an archfey or a fiend, or like an angel, maybe, creatures like that. They might craft and distribute magical weapons for a specific purpose, that have to do with some, either a prophecy or a quest, just some goal that they want to see accomplished. You find a number of stories about weapons like that, not one specifically about Sassy, though.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, and then the other research is, of course,
I will say, since you got a frickin' 23, that does lead you to believe it is possible Sassy could get stronger in the future under the right circumstances.
Even sassier? No.
First of all, Sassy means moon, good sir, okay? And it's S-A-S-I. My goodness. Go back to meditating.
Yeah, you're not here.
Yeah. It's funny as I proceed to be sassy. Anyway. All right, cool. Next would be Tiamat. And I pretty much figuring out how she has people enter her pacts, if there's a way to dissolve a pact, or if it's something that has to be transferred, or if it can't be transferred, can it be dissolved, that kind of thing, or if there's a more powerful deity above her that could break it that I could petition. But yeah, pretty much it's more finding if the pact could be broken or dissolved or transferred.
Gotcha. I will say, for context, around this time, it seems like your other compatriots are starting to wrap up their research. So you could go ahead and start looking into this if you would like to. You might be a little bit rushed. So I would say if you wanted to research one more time, it would be with disadvantage, but you can try to look around and see what they have.
Ix'll wait. There's like 5 other libraries we can go to. So
Okay.
she has to come back for Kale Morrow anyway, assuming that they grant access.
Very good, very good.
Ix will let Ben know that she is waiting on a decision for that, since he has the sending stone.
Okay. So by this point, it seems like everybody is wrapping up what they were looking into, some faster than others, Thorne. Ben comes back from meditating with question.
Fucking called out.
Lucas can keep chatting up Proxy if he wishes to, but he also takes notice that other people that are actually reading books seem to be finishing up.
He gives Proxy a most gracious thank you, sign of his gratitude in whatever form they wish it to take.
You should bow.
Only if they want to bow. He says thank you.
They seem delighted to have been of assistance. Very good, very good. So the 5 of you reconvene. I presume exchange information that you found.
Yes.
What's the plan from here?
Ben's actually not going to share anything just yet. But
Fair. I wondered.
Ix will ask where. Well, because he was tucked into a corner, but I mean, he wasn't in a private room, right? So we would have seen him meditating.
No, he
they
went
were in
into
a private room.
Session.
Oh.
And we were all over the library, so.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
So if Ben doesn't offer anything, Ix will ask, well, then what were you doing?
Cobalt soul stuff.
Right. Of course. All right. She's clearly annoyed, but she's just gonna leave it at that. And then, what time of day is it now?
Let's see. Oh, probably early to mid-afternoon. I'd say mid-afternoon. You would have spent a fair amount of time trying to pour through books.
Oh, I will say, I don't think Thorne really would have shared what he found about Ukatoa and Zahir, only because he didn't really find out much. At least nothing that the group wouldn't already know. But he would share what he learned about the vestiges in the hopes that someone else would have better luck at a later time researching this.
Gotcha.
Makes sense. We all share what's relevant to the group's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Build up a stronger foundation.
I just want known that someone else should look into that more.
Right.
No.
All right.
Makes sense.
Very good, very good.
Did we want to go back to the Lap of the Gods, or do we want to try our luck with the Allegiance, specifically the headmaster?
Mild groan.
I know you don't want to go there, but...
See, I kind of feel like if we want to go with the plan we were talking about earlier, like, do we think it's a good idea to talk to the Allegiance that much?
Well, why not?
Well, Hey, stop that. Sorry, cat was scratching the sofa.
That darn cat.
No, just a hit. I was like, oh, there it is. Oh, no, it didn't fall over.
So close.
Sorry.
I guess it's. I think it was Lucas who said it before that. If we have too much of a interaction with the Allegiance, then the Consortium might know not to trust us.
That's fair. It's only been a day, but I mean that's a good enough point. Oh, we should check out the Colosseum. What was that called again? What'd you call it, Stars?
The Bowl of Judgment.
Should we check out the Bowl of Judgment?
Yeah, let's go beat people up.
Oh, okay.
Boot to the head.
I'm very much down for that.
All right,
I
well-
personally can meet up with you guys later because I want to find the Temple of the Mover and see
Oh,
that
yeah.
since we're here in the Temple District, basically.
Oh, you should take Lucas with you after you're done looking at temples so you can go to the gardens that you want to go to.
Excuse me, I can plan my own date.
I wasn't taking away your date. I'm just saying you have an opportunity today. But you do you. Sorry, didn't mean to step on your toes.
Plus, I feel like Lucas would want to do the Colosseum. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, if you're not there for me to show off to.
I am rolling my eyes so hard right now. Oh.
Well, I mean, we
All
have.
right, you know what? If we're gonna do things, maybe I'll explore the streets for a little bit. I'll meet up with you guys back at the Lap of the Gods.
Yeah, it won't take long. Give me like an hour.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that. I don't know how long me walking around will take, so have fun.
Okay.
We all go check out the streets. That sounds like a great time.
That's fine. This is the part where we all have our own little mini adventure.
Love it. Let's split the party.
This is how you get streets ahead.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm sorry. I know it probably won't work out for roleplay. We'll see. We'll see.
Also,
We'll see.
heads up. Let me know if while you guys are wandering, you see anyone who looks like me, like dwarf, red hair, darker skin.
There are so many dwarves that have red hair and dark skin.
Are there?
Make a list
Make a list?
of all the people you see. That's what Arno asked for.
Is there a name you want us to listen for?
I mean, we're really striking, but if you hear Firebrand or Molten Beard, something like that.
Molten Beard.
Is this
Okay.
a sibling of yours that you expect to be here?
Oh, no, my family business, we kind of set up shop in most of the major cities. I don't know for certain that there's one here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had a...
What kind of shop is it? Is it a shop? Or is it a shop?
I took... My father makes safes. It's a whole entire clan thing. We make some of the best, if not the best, magical safes and security systems. So I'm good at what I do. So
That's probably close. That'll probably be in the Suncut Bazaar, possibly, like in the merchants. Or would that be in the Illuvian? Where's my...
I mean, it could also be on the ridge because that's industrial area. I don't know.
that's... Alright, yeah. Keep an ear out.
But, if you do, please let me know so I can avoid them? Talk to them? I haven't decided.
Okay. We'll just... If anything comes up, we'll give you the info and you can do with it what you wish.
Depends on which one it is.
It's true. I mean, I'm technically not disowned, so it depends on how much my father has said, and I don't think my father would say anything because it would bring shame upon him. So I think it would be fine. I don't know.
Oh, that's heartbreaking, Arno. But I understand it. Yeah, image is everything to a lot of people, so it makes sense. Super cool and great.
Got it. You go do your temple stuff.
Mhm.
Sounds great.
That's all we got.
Marvelous. So Arno is looking for the Temple of the Moonweaver.
Yep.
Ix is going to investigate the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucas, Thorne, and Ben, what is your immediate goal or destination or plan?
Oh, Ben's will be food.
Nope. Actually, if everybody is splitting and doing their own thing, Ben would stay at the library and just spend a day experiencing the Cobalt soul from this perspective as well.
Actually
That's not
spending
bad.
time inside one of the buildings.
He would, help research, talk with question, probably become somebody's proxy. Cobalt soul stuff.
Actually,
Cool
it's actually
shit.
part of being a Cobalt Soul. You need to get a certain number of proxies per day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's way behind. So
He's got catching up to do.
I mean, if we're just wandering the streets, Lucas is totally up for wandering the streets. Sounds fun.
I think this might require going back to the inn for a change of clothes, specifically not fancy looking clothes. But I think Thorne might want to check out some seedier parts of the city if we're all just wandering around and doing things. Just
So
to
the
kind
clothes
of,
you came here in.
yes, just to kind of put like an ear to the ground and see what's up. Not really to do anything in specific, but just see what's
Getting a
going
feel
on.
for the city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's legit.
Okay.
but I don't want to get mugged in the process, so you know.
Right.
Yeah, don't look fancy. Yeah.
Hence why Arno is not doing it.
It looks too fancy. It's all good.
It does.
Where is our
Okay.
meetup spot?
The lap of the gods.
Okay.
sounds
Unless
good
we
to me.
all, well, that depends. Like, I think, Thorne, are you going to be in the guided district? Or are you going to move closer to, like, the Suncut Bazaar?
I don't know. I don't know where the shady parts of the city are. So
I don't think this part of the,
That's so first
Sorry.
thing on Thorne's docket is figure out where the shady part of town is.
yeah.
well, yes, because if we're all going to be pretty much in the guided district, we can meet back up at the Cobalt Soul Temple instead of the lap of the gods.
Not opposed to that.
Sure.
All right.
I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah, we'll just come back to collect Ben.
So Lucas, are you accompanying anyone or are you doing your own thing?
It sounds like we're all doing our own thing. So
Okay. So he can figure that out.
it's just a general wander in my ridiculously hot armor. It's
Like I said, you could leave most of it behind in the room and have a chain shirt instead of chain mail.
While I like the way you think, for all he grumbles, he doesn't take it off.
He's
enough.
like, no, I'm keeping. I don't trust this city or its inhabitants.
Like he spent too much time on the road.
I mean, yeah.
Between going through the barbed fields and all that. Not gonna
Love-hate
get caught.
relationship with stuff,
Not gonna get caught without his armor.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this feels like a pretty reasonable spot to wrap up our little bit shorter session today.